talked tough and also shown the mirror to Canada at the United Nations. During the review of Canada's human rights record at the UNHRC, India has asked Ottawa to stop the misuse of freedom of expression to incite violence. The Indian diplomat also urged Canada to strengthen the domestic framework to disallow activities of groups which are promoting extremism. He also called on Canada to effectively prevent attacks on places of worship and religious and racial minorities in Canada, and also to take steps to address hate crimes as well as hate speech. Let's listen to what was said.
In the spirit of constructive dialogue, India recommends the following to Canada. 1. Further strengthen the domestic framework to prevent misuse of freedom of expression for inciting violence and disallow activities of groups which are promoting extremism. 2. Effectively prevent attacks on places of worship of religious and racial minorities, strengthen legislative and other measures to address hate crimes and hate speech. 3. Put an end to structural discrimination against children belonging to indigenous groups and address disparities in access to services by all children.
Now, this comes after the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had repeated his allegations against India and said that Canada wants to work with India on this serious matter of Nijjar's killing. He once again alleged that there were serious reasons to believe that Indian government agents were involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil. He also claims that Canada has shared the real allegations with India, but India's response was to send back Canadian diplomats.
Canada is a country that will always stand up for the rule of law, because if might starts to make right again, if bigger countries can violate international law without consequences, then the whole world gets more dangerous for everyone. That's why we were so disappointed when India violated the Vienna Convention and arbitrarily revoked the diplomatic immunity of over 40 Canadian diplomats in India. We have tried to work constructively and positively with India, and we will continue to. And that means continuing to work with Indian government diplomats. This is not a fight we want to be having right now.
Now, Canada's claims of violation of the Vienna Convention by India received a point-by-point rebuttal from the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar himself, last month. He cited the Vienna Convention, and Dr. Jaishankar said that relevant international laws provide for parity in diplomatic presence, and India is extremely concerned about Canada's continued interference in India's internal affairs. Now, Justin Trudeau has on several occasions made allegations of India's involvement in Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing, but has failed to provide any concrete evidence. This is something that even Canadian opposition politicians have been demanding of Trudeau. India has also time and again made it clear that they're ready to work together with Canadian government if at all they provide any proof. When Canada first leveled these allegations in the month of June, it had also expelled a top Indian diplomat, sparking a diplomatic standoff between the two countries. India had sent back a Canadian diplomat in a tit-for-tat response and asked Canada to downsize its diplomatic mission. Now, the Canadian government then withdrew 41 diplomats and their families after India cited provisions of the Vienna Convention. Justin Trudeau, meanwhile, has been facing flack both within his own country and also in India over the handling of this sensitive issue.
कनाडा के प्रधानमंत्री जस्टिन ट्रूडो ने फिर से एक बार ऐसी स्टेटमेंट दी है जो बड़ी शर्मसार करने वाली है। मुझे बहुत दुख और खेद है कि एक प्रधानमंत्री ये बार बार कहे कि मुझे लगता है कि भारत कनाडा की धरती के ऊपर एक कैनेडियन के कत्ल के लिए जिम्मेवार है। मुझे लगता है, कोई एविडेंस नहीं, कोई सबूत नहीं, और बार बार मांगने पे कोई सबूत नहीं, केवल और केवल अपनी नेगेटिविटी को छुपाने के लिए, अपने जहां की जो उनका फेलियर है कनाडा को, उससे लोगों का ध्यान हटाने के लिए ऐसी बार बार बात करी जाए। जस्टिन ट्रूडो की स्टेटमेंट स्पष्ट करती है तो आजकल आतंकियों का साथ दे रहा है, देशद्रोहियों का साथ दे रहा है, गैंगस्टर्स का साथ दे रहा है और अपने फेलियर को छुपाने के लिए बार बार भारत को निशाना बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है।